Ah, lovely. So, welcome to this last yoga session of the year together. So, yeah, let's really have a good stretch and take our time to find a comfortable position to really lengthen out if lying on your back is comfortable. Pushing the heels, pointing the toes. Taking your time to find your place on the mat in this moment. Whatever way feels right for you. Bending your knees if you need to. Changing the position of your spine, your lower back, the shoulders. Noticing what's here for you in your neck. You might want to put your head on a cushion. And having a little shuffle around of the shoulders, taking the shoulders away from the ears, chin down to the chest. Feeling the connection of the spine with the floor. And taking some long, deep breaths in and sighing the breath out. And as you sigh out, just allowing that sense of letting go, of release. And bringing your attention to the face, noticing if you're holding on in the face at all, softening across the forehead and the eyes, eyebrows. Feeling the flutter or connection of the eyelashes, the upper lashes with the lower lashes. Just allowing the eyeballs to sink back into their sockets. Sometimes we hold on, just letting go of the eyeballs. Feeling across the face, the cheeks, the bridge of the nose down to the nostrils, the upper lip and the lower lip. Perhaps as you pay attention to the lips, just softly together, feeling the pulse. And sensing down to the jaw, and if you're holding on in the jaw in any way, just letting that release. The tongue just resting in the mouth. Around the jawline to the ears, and feeling the outer ears first of all, the earlobes, and where the ears make contact with the scalp. Allowing the scalp to feel soft. So often there's a tension in the scalp, and as we breathe out, we can release and soften. Letting go in the brain. Really feeling the weight of the head supported by the surface beneath, whatever that is. And as you breathe out, allowing the awareness to just gently travel down through the body. Feeling into a sense of settling, of connecting, of being held by the earth. That as the awareness travels down through the landscape of the body, just feeling that support from the earth, allowing you to surrender. Noticing what pulls your attention, what draws you in, and just being with that for a little while, and then passing with awareness to the next part of the body. All the way from the top of the head down to the tips of the toes. Aware too of the breath, the ebb and flow of the breath. And as you start to come down to the toes, just giving them a little wriggle, just feeling the experience in the toes. If your knees are bent, if you're able to, you can lengthen the legs away and start to really draw the toes in, contracting up through the soles of the feet and then spreading them wide. Just doing that a few times, drawing them in and then opening out. And then just let the feet flop out to the side as you take your attention to your fingers, and just doing the same, starting to wriggle them gently and slowly. And then making a fist, taking that tension up through the forearm, the upper arm to the shoulders, breathing in, and as you breathe out, release and spread the fingers wide. Doing that a few times, contracting with the in-breath and releasing on the out-breath. And circling the wrists and the ankles,
One way. Just taking them around as far as you feel comfortable to do so, and then back in the other direction. And then just gently bringing that to stillness and bending through the knees, coming into semi-supine. Connecting the spine with the floor. So just bringing some tone across the belly if you can. Drawing in through the pelvic floor, just a little to give you some tone, some control. And then we're going to just take the hands and work them a little bit more. So turning into the wrists, but lifting the elbows up off the floor, the shoulders, just taking them round and round in a circular movement. Like a Bollywood dancer. And notice what happens in the core, just keeping that nice and toned. And then back the other way. And then gently back down to the floor, just feeling into the shoulders. And then allow the knees to come into the chest or towards the chest. Separate the knees a little, and we're going to do the same with the legs. So circling the feet around and then starting to incorporate the knees and the hips into that movement. So it's quite a big movement you can make. Just take the feet up and start to really let the hips open. And then back the other way. Wonderful. Just really notice how your hips are today, and then gently bring your feet back down. A couple of breaths in and out. And then connecting back in with the core, and then we're going to do both at the same time. So this actually does work into the core. So arms and legs all the way round, really opening into the shoulders, opening into the hips. Good job I only share this recording amongst ourselves. Don't go public with it. And then just easing back in the other direction. Well done. And then slowly, slowly back down to the floor. Hands on the belly. Let's have a couple of breaths. Deep, mindful breaths in and out. And then we're going to take ourselves into a stretch, reaching up, pushing the heels, pointing the toes, stretching the arms. And then rolling over onto your tummy. So one hand on top of the other, resting the forehead on the hands, and allow the lower back to gently release. It just takes a little time for the muscles to start to open, a little to lengthen in this position. Being aware of the movement of the belly with the breath and the increased pressure in the rib cage and the soft belly with the in-breath. And as you breathe out, just feeling the release. And then we're just going to very gently come up onto the elbows. So tucking the elbows under, just ease ourselves up, releasing into the lower back, starting to look forwards a little bit. Allowing the lower back to open, to release, Just checking in with the shoulders, making sure you're not holding on there. And then breathing in quite naturally. And as you breathe out, imagine that there's that piece of string coming from your chest, pulling you forwards through your shoulders. So you won't move very far at all. But just sensing how that stretches the lower back some more. And then on the in-breath, release. We're doing that a few times, noticing the pull, the stretch of the lower back. Good. And then gently coming back down, rest your forehead on your left hand, the back of your left hand, and just take the right arm down the side of your body. Take a breath in, breathing out. We're just going to bend that right knee. And if you can, hold on to the ankle or the foot. If you can't, you'll just have to hold on to your trouser leg. I'm going to just open into the front of the right leg. So just take a breath in, and as you breathe out, if you can, lift that knee up off the floor. Draw the foot, the heel down towards or onto your bottom. Have a really lovely long stretch, pressing the right hip down into the floor. Keep breathing. Nice, and gently down. Just changing to the other side. Right hand is supporting the forehead, bending the left leg, holding onto the left ankle, foot or trouser. Take a breath in, breathing out, lift that up off the floor. So the knee and the thigh come right up off the floor if they can, pressing the left hip down into the floor, feeling the stretch, not only down through the quads, but into your hip flexor. Well done. Gently back down, just have a little rest, one hand on top of the other. Couple of breaths in and out. And then we're going to do that with both legs. So not overstraining your back. We're not going to lift the head up. We're just going to stretch the legs. So take one foot and then the other. Keep the forehead on the floor and just gently lift up both knees. You won't get your knees as high as you would if you're doing one. But still just feeling that stretch. Shoulders come back and down. So there's a sense of opening through the chest. Lovely. Good. And gently and slowly back down. And we're going to ease ourselves up into cat. So coming into a nice square cat posture. Back is lovely and flat. The knees are hip distance apart and the wrists are below the shoulders, spreading the fingers wide. So you might want to ease back, really widen those fingers and then press them down. Taking a breath in, breathing out, drawing in, and then breathing out. The pelvic floor coming up, drawing in the belly button, rounding the shoulders, forward, tucking the chin in. And as you breathe back in again, softening through the tailbone, feel each vertebra one at a time as you flow that movement up and the head lifts. So just easing into cat-cow. Allowing the breath to feel really natural. And if you wish to, starting to gently move the body. So responding to what your body needs. You might hear some little noises coming from your spine, your hips, your neck. Going back and forth. And coming back into the center. Just having a little wriggle of the hips from side to side. Just easing from one side to the other. Notice how that is in your lower back. Just releasing a little bit. Nice. So we're going to go into pigeon. If you have a sore knee or foot, then you might want to get a block or a cushion or something to support you in this. So we're going to bring the left knee forwards, the right leg back. Just shuffle the foot across if you can to the top of the right leg. So if your knee is sore, you might want to put something between your lower leg and your upper leg. And then coming down onto your elbows, rest your forehead on your hands and just be there for a little while. Opening into the hip, releasing into the spine, just feeling into the stretch. And then coming down onto the forehead and the hands coming away. Just taking them away from the body, having a stretch. Checking in with the pelvis, just to make sure the pelvis is staying nice and square, even. You're not rolling over. And then coming up onto your hands when you're ready. Good. And if it feels right, you can come up onto your fingertips. So just drawing in through the core, roll the shoulders back, looking forwards, feeling that lovely openness through the front of your chest. And let the spine, the pelvis settle. So you're not overstretching. It might be that you can start to wriggle the right leg back a little bit as the release starts to happen. Beautiful, long, deep breaths in and out. And then we're going to ease that back leg up, just as we did in lying. And then take the left hand around to the inside edge of the leg. And of course, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but reaching around for the foot, the ankle, taking a breath in, breathing out, turning to look. So your hands on the inside edge of the foot, the shoulder, right shoulder's back. Every time you breathe out, see if you can twist a little bit more. Easing back. Nice breaths to help with the twist. Good. And then nice and slowly coming back round. Rest your forehead once more. The elbows on the floor. Head in the hands. And then just placing the hands back down on the floor. Take the right leg and tuck the toes under of the right leg and then stretch it out. So you lift the right knee up off the floor and stretch out the hamstrings, pressing the heel away from you. Good. And then gently back down. Come up onto your hands, take a breath in, breathing out, come up into a long dog. So you keep your toes tucked under, have a good long stretch. Stretch it all out. Beautiful deep breaths in and out. Core is nice and strong. Feeling tailbone coming right up. Opening into the back of the knees. As it's a long dog, you won't get your heels anywhere near the floor. Just feeling that opening at the back of the knees. Lovely. And then coming back into cat. Just taking yourself through a couple of cat-cow movements. Just releasing into the spine. You might feel one side is more open than the other. Good. We'll do all that again on the other side. So obviously this knee, your right knee, might need some support, whereas your left didn't. It's taking care of that. Bringing your right knee forwards and then the right foot across to sit, if you can, in the top of the left leg. But if you can't do that, then don't. And then when you're ready, bringing your elbows to the floor, your forehead, your hands into, forehead into your hands. Opening into the hip. Just let the pelvis release. So noticing where you're holding on. And then just let the pelvis settle. Good, and then gently bringing the forehead down onto the floor, stretching the arms out. Just notice again if there's any holding pattern in the body, in the shoulders or the hips or the legs, somewhere else. And see what happens if you can just send your breath to that area to soften and release. Good. And then nice and slowly coming back up onto your hands, and if you're able to, coming up onto the tips of the fingers, roll the shoulders back and down. So there's a lovely sense of engagement in your upper back and shoulders, and that creates a spaciousness in the front chest. And lift the head so that the Vishuddhi chakra is activated. You're open through the throat and anahata, through the heart space. So the shoulders are active, back and down. There's an opening. And then just notice what's happening in the hip and the pelvis. See if you can maybe shuffle the left leg away a little bit more. If there's some space opening up for you here. Notice any contraction, and if you're able to consciously override that, to let the pelvis feel heavy, open into the hips some more. And then taking the right hand to the inner side of the leg, bend through the left leg, take the hand around, take a breath in, breathing out, turning to look at that left foot if you can. And every time you breathe out, see if you can just press into the inner part of the foot and twist into your thoracic spine in particular. Having a really good stretch. Twist. Nice. And then gently coming back, bring your forehead to your hands once more. Just notice maybe how much closer you are to the floor. This is your hips have softened and opened. And then place the hands and the forearms on the floor. Tuck the toes under the left leg and straighten that leg out so that you're lengthening through the hamstrings on this side. Heel going away from you, back of the knee opening, feeling the breath. And then gently just place that knee down as you come up onto your hands once more. Keep the toes tucked under. Take a breath in, breathing out. Scoot that right leg back, and we go into a long dog. We're just going to hold this posture for a little while, just playing around with it. You might want to shorten the dog. So just sensing into the hamstrings. One heel, then the other, and down towards the floor. Keeping the core nicely strong. Coming up onto your tippy toes with the in-breath, and as you breathe out, pressing down through your hands, lengthen through the spine. Tailbone coming up, opening into the shoulders. Just doing that a few times. And then take a breath in. As you breathe out, ease yourself forwards through plank into upward facing dog. Come through to plank and back into long dog. So if you could do that without touching your knees to the floor, then do. So just coming up and back. If you need to touch down and go into cat and then hanging cobra, then that's a modification for you. So it just depends how your back's feeling today, the strength you feel you have, but just making sure you transition in your own way. And next time you come up into dog, downward facing dog, just walk the hands in, walk the feet in, and ease into hanging forward bend. Just give your hands a shake, and your fingers should give them a wriggle. And then nice and slowly ease yourself up, standing. Oh, lovely. Nice. Good. So just coming into mountain, standing with your feet hip distance apart, nice and tall. Once you're there, you might just want to have a little side to side flex of the head, just to ease into the neck a little bit. So let the head bob around. So drawing in through the core, feel the tailbone coming down towards the ground, and that feeling of lifting up through the spine, through the top of the head, lengthening. And then interlace the fingers, turn the palms away from you and up to the ceiling. And separate the feet a little, and we're going to just go from side to side. Ease into the back. You can soften the elbows. Just notice how that helps you to go down one side and the other just a little bit more. Gently, let the arms come down.
Just have a shake of the legs. So yeah, we're going to do a little bit more on the arms. We've worked on the hips, so we're just going to do a little bit more on the shoulders. So starting off with hands in prayer, elbows out to the sides. And then turn the palms forwards and then back in. Doing that a few times, lifting the shoulders as the hands come forwards and then drawing the shoulder blades down either side as they come in. So we're just activating the shoulder blades, all those little muscles underneath the shoulder blades that help to draw them down either side. And then making sure you've got enough space either side of you. Talking for myself as well. We're just going to separate the feet a little bit more. Push the heels of the hands away. Feel the lengthening through the back of the arms, the elbows. Just watch that the shoulders aren't up around the ears, they're back and down. And then just gently rotate. Feeling all those different sensations in the shoulders and the arms. So do this. And then back the other way. Making sure you're really pushing the heels of your hands away and the fingers are coming towards you. So there's a real sense of lengthening. And then we're going to turn, so like we're wringing out a dishcloth. Bring one shoulder forwards and the other one back. Move your body as well. And that helps to mobilize into the shoulders, but also, should you start to feel like it's really working into the muscles. So it gets quite strong after a while. Gently, just let that go. It's the roll of the shoulders. Okay, so we're going to interlace the fingers, turn the palms away from us, lift the shoulders or lift the arms, back up. So the palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in and breathing out. We're going to turn, keeping the feet really still. And the arms in extension, turn to look behind you. So keeping as lengthened through the spine as you possibly can, drawing in through the core and going into a strong twist. Easing yourself forwards and going back the other way. Coming back to the center and then gently and slowly let the arms come down and shake. So back in the day when we were in a real studio, at Christmas time or sometimes at Easter time, I used to put a nice chocolate in your hands. I used to play with the chocolate. We're going to have to imagine there's a chocolate in your hands. Well, this is called a plate of spaghetti. So we're just going to mobilize much more into the shoulders and bringing also the whole of the body into this movement. So you're not just working into the shoulders, you can move the body as much as you like. So taking your feet quite a distance apart now, and with the right arm, we're going to turn the hand underneath, keeping the hand as flat as possible. So for those of you who are fairly new, what we're doing is we're trying to keep our hand, our palm, up towards the ceiling at all times. And imagining you've got something on there, like a plate of spaghetti. So you're taking your hand underneath the shoulder, around, and then you're taking it forwards, up over the top of your head. This is why you need to move your body. and around. So it's a whole body workout. I'm going to do that a few times. Underneath, keep the palm uppermost, around and back. Good, nice. All the way over. Lovely. And when you've done that 4 times, we're going to go back the other way. So taking the arm back, same arm, around, over the top of your head, and forwards and round. Really mobilizing into the back, into the hips. All the way around. 4 times. Nice. Good hip action. Okay, so taking it over to the left side and around underneath, first of all, over the top, and you go. And this side might feel quite different, might feel better or not so easy. So you really have to ease yourself around. You take it under, around, right away across the top of your head. And back. And then we're going to go back the other way when you've done that 4 times. Up and over first, and then around. Arm always uppermost, so you don't lose that plate of spaghetti. You have to think about it. It's a bit of a brain teaser at the same time. It's working into your neck, back, shoulders, hips. Good. Lovely. And once you've done that 4 times, we are going to do both together. This is where it can get quite messy. So palms uppermost. Let's go under first, both arms under, round, and then you have to kind of go right the way back, cross the hands over and under. So you're going into a really good extension of the spine. Oh, strong on the spine, really good for mobilizing the back, strengthening the muscles. You can bend your knees. Don't know why I feel like I need to do that, but it helps. Taking it down all the way around and back. We're doing that 4 times, and then we're going back the other way. Cross your arms to go back. Really making sure you go into a nice back bend, pressing the pelvis forward. Really mobilizing the whole of the back, or the whole of the body, really. 4 times. And then we get into the brain teaser completely, where we do opposite to opposite. So I'm kind of going to leave this one up to you to a point, but I take my left arm under, my right arm out, go round. Woo. Really moving the hips. Four times in one direction, the other way. Good. When you've done that 4 times in the other direction, just take your hands into prayer, close your eyes. Feel into the shoulders, maybe into the neck. Notice how the neck is, maybe give it a bit of a wobble from side to side. Feel the warmth probably in your hands. Lovely, well done. And then separating the feet quite wide. Taking them one good length, leg length apart. Turning the right foot out. The left heel might just turn a little bit. I'm going to go into Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So taking a breath in, breathing out, first of all, bending through the right knee. Keep the core nice and strong, the tailbone down towards the floor. And with this right knee bent, just watch the knee will want to come forwards like that, but we want it to come over above the right ankle, but keep the pelvis pointing forward. So it's really opening sensation. Take the arms out to the sides. Shoulder blades engaged down either side. You might want to just turn the palms up and then down. And notice as you're doing that a couple of times, how that engages the shoulder blades a little bit more. Good. Take a breath in, breathing out, just turning to look down your right arm. If you feel like you're sort of easing over too much, just drawing yourself back, and your arms should be in line with each other. Checking with the knees, the right knee in particular, above the right ankle. Tummies nice and tight, tailbone down to the floor. And every time you breathe out, feel yourself just bending through a little bit more, maybe shifting your back leg back. We've really done some hip opening practice this morning, so you should be feeling nice and loose in your hips and your shoulders. Well done. And then take a breath in, breathing out, reaching across first before we go down into a bent knee Trikonasana. So the right arm comes down, left arm comes up. If that's too difficult on your neck, just looking down at the floor. Good. And then take a breath in, breathing out, straightening through that leg. So straighten the right leg. See if there's any more of a bend you can do of the side of the body. Just keeping the left shoulder back. Feeling into that lovely long stretch. Muscles working hard to keep you there. Take a breath in, breathing out, coming back up. The straight leg, wide angle, and then gently down and turn the feet around. The left foot comes out. I'm really doing the splits. I don't know out so far. So making sure that the left heel sort of lines up with the midpoint of the right foot, and it helps you to be really stable. Pelvis is forwards, bending through the left leg. The knees over above the ankle to start with. Good, really drawing in through the core. Take the arms out. Just turn the hands again, up and down. Just a few times. And as you turn them back down, really engaging the upper back, the shoulders. Breath in and breathing out, turn to look down your left arm. Just checking the knees over the ankle. And every time you breathe out, having a sense of maybe coming down a little bit more. I always have to sort of wriggle my back foot back a little bit so that I can feel my pelvis really opening and releasing through the hips. Staying connected with your right foot, but letting your left leg take a lot of the weight. And then a breath in. As you breathe out, reaching first with your left arm before you come down into bent knee Trikonasana. So just checking that the arms are aligned. Feeling that left leg working hard to sustain you in that position. And then breathing in and breathing out. If you can, straighten that left leg as much as possible. See if you can ease your body down through your open hip. The arms lined up, right shoulder back, right hip back. Nice strong posture. If it's too much on your neck, just let the head come down. Just holding it, you might be wobbling a little. And then take a breath in, breathing out, coming back up, let the arms come down. Bring the legs back together. Nice, all done. Have a shake of everything. Maybe just go into a little bit of a twist. Just let the arms flop against the sides. And then just let the hands come up so that it's just patting the shoulder. The shoulders we've just been working into. Okay, so for our balancing posture, because we've been working on the hips and the shoulders, let's go into eagle. So eagle is where you cross the legs first and then you cross the arms. So often we do just eagle arms, but we don't necessarily do eagle legs. So standing in mountain to begin with, nice and tall, drawing in, shoulders down either sides of the spine. And then just allowing the knees to feel a little softer. And we cross the right, just peel the right foot up off the floor, cross the right over the left. And then take the arms out to the sides and cross the right over the left. So come into eagle. And then if you can, going to that a little bit more down into a squat. So just bending the knees a little bit more, lifting the hands up towards the ceiling. Nice deep breaths. Good. And gently, gently. Calming on out of that. Have a shake. Well done. And then taking the body weight over to the right leg, softening down through the knee, crossing the left leg over. Arms out to the sides. Cross the left over the right. Hold onto the hands. And then lifting those arms up to the ceiling. Try not to claw too much with your toes. And then bending down through the legs. So your back's nice and straight and elevated. Feeling into that balance. Sensing into the wobble. Modifying it with eagle arms if you can't go on one leg. Just making sure you do something. And then just coming out of that, having a roll of the shoulders. Oh, and a release of the hips. So taking one leg out and the other. Well done. Standing nice and tall. Let's come into Namaste, the hands again. And from here, let's just go into a little mudra, which is a nice one to do. So you take the backs of the hands together, and then you interlace the little fingers, and then the second fingers, and the third fingers. And the index fingers and the thumbs are together. Close the eyes. Just feeling the ground, connection with the earth, and allowing a sense of the flow of energy to come through the body, up and down through that central tube, that channel between the earth and the sky. Having a real sense of that connectivity and how you are like a conduit between the earth and sky and the earth. And then gently, gently releasing that and coming down into lying on the back, and give your knees a hug into your chest. Drawing the knees in. Maybe just having a rock side to side. Just feel massaging into the lower back. So we've really mobilized into the back this morning. So feeling that movement. And just finding a comfortable place for you to relax. And you might want to just keep your ankles crossed and go into inverted fish so that you bring your feet to the floor, the knees out to the sides, cross the wrists and rest your head on your hands and open the elbows out, because we've opened the wrists and the shoulders, the hips. So it might feel really comfortable, or going into Shavasana. Lying on your side. Whatever feels right. Feeling into the ebb and flow of the breath.
Noticing what it feels like to be resting here in this moment, just as you are. Knowing that you can change posture if you feel you would like to be even more comfortable. Really tuning into how your body is in this moment, and perhaps how the yoga practice, not only from today, but from this term, has impacted on the relationship that you have with your body. Really taking care of your body. Sensing into the settling sensations after moving, opening, stretching, contracting. And just allowing the body to release and offering some gratitude to the body for all that it does to support us. To really recognize what it feels like to have a connection to the body, a healthy connection, one that's imbued with kindness and care. And then just very gently starting to deepen the breath, to draw in the prana, the life force, into your body. Feeling that vitality going to every living cell. Having a little movement, a stretch. And doing so with awareness. Just taking your time just to roll over onto your side and rest a while as you're easing yourself, if that's your wish to do so, easing yourself from your relaxation. And then once you get
here, just having a stretch of the arms, taking a breath in and breathing out. Namaste. Thank you very much.